I was just saying that back between 1941 and 1945, Novorossiysk was absolutely leveled by bombs. There wasn't a single house left standing, and the entire city had to be rebuilt from the ground up. So my question is this: is that same tragic fate going to befall us in this current war?
A swarm of 54 Ukrainian drones just landed into Russian biggest Baltic Sea port, Ust-Luga, sparking a fire and damaging key oil facilities in a 4-hour assault.
Ukraine's military reportedly launched a drone attack on Russia's Leningrad Oblast overnight on August 13th, damaging port infrastructure in Ust-Luga, Regional Governor Alexander Drozdenko said. Ust-Luga is one of Russia's largest ports on the Baltic Sea and home to an oil terminal that serves as a major hub for the export of crude oil and petroleum products. Located west of St. Petersburg, far from Ukraine's border, the port plays an important role in generating revenue for the state budget. Drozdenko said that a fire was burning at the port amid a wide-ranging drone attack on the region. Officials claimed that 51 Ukrainian drones were downed over Leningrad Oblast. As Kyiv steps up its attack on Russian oil infrastructure, the Ust-Luga port has repeatedly served as a target of attacks in recent months. The Ukrainian military carried out a series of deep strikes against the Ust-Luga port in March and April of this year. Ukraine has been waging an increasingly successful deep strike campaign against Russian oil infrastructure, striking oil depots, disrupting production at major facilities, and in some cases, halting operations indefinitely. Ukraine's oil infrastructure attacks have mounted pressure on the Kremlin by aggravating a domestic fuel supply crisis that has already caused export bans, price hikes, and sales restrictions across Russia. Earlier on August 13th, the governor of Russia's Orenburg Oblast reported that an oil refinery in the city of Orsk has completely halted processing following a recent Ukrainian drone strike on the facility, with repairs expected to keep the facility out of operation for months. Putin's ghouls are finishing off the affected Wildberries sellers. How they supported entrepreneurs whose goods burned on WB, banks refused to defer loans. The tax office blocked all accounts, both personal and sole proprietorship, for a 11-day delay in tax payment.
Do you really want to know what kind of support we are actually receiving as business owners who have been deeply affected by everything currently happening with Wildberries? To start with, Wildberries has cut off all of our withdrawals. So everything that is selling right now, all of my surviving stock that is still moving, which accounts for about 30% of my total inventory, I am not seeing a single dime of that money. Consequently, all of my payments have just ground to a sudden halt. So, I find myself unable to pay my loans, I cannot pay my taxes, and the list just goes on and on. It has only been 3 weeks since all of this first started, ever since the very beginning of these attacks. What are we seeing here today? Yesterday, Russia's central bank sent a letter to all our commercial banks, urging them to offer sellers flexible payment deferrals. I want to show you a clear example of how other financial institutions are actually choosing to react to that specific type of directive. But okay, setting the banks aside for a moment, we still have to deal with our beloved tax office. And the truly craziest part of this whole situation is just look at what is currently happening with my tax account right now. Not only did they decide to freeze all the funds in my business account, but they have also gone ahead and blocked every single one of my personal accounts across all the other banks. Please keep in mind that I have missed a tax payment. It is the value-added tax for the second quarter of 2024. So these are taxes for the current calendar year. And since the second quarter has only just come to a close, it is essentially still very recent. I was exactly 11 days late with my tax payment, and just because of that short 11-day delay, the tax office decided to immediately freeze every single one of my personal bank accounts. And in the aftermath of those devastating fires, my accountant and I reached out to the tax office to formally request a structured payment plan. Because I am still managing to make some sales, I still have inventory on hand, and I truly believe I can still find a way to save my business, but to be perfectly honest, it feels like nobody gives a damn about it except for me. It feels like everyone is actively playing against me at this very moment. The banks are working against me by refusing to grant me any extensions. The tax office is also playing against me by simply freezing every single one of my accounts. To give you some idea of the situation, I couldn't even call a taxi today or pay for a restaurant bill because there is just absolutely no money left. The very last of the credit funds I had available to me were completely frozen. So in order to successfully make my current loan payments, for instance, I was forced to physically go down to the bank teller and pay in person, simply because all of my accounts remain completely blocked. Thank God that I have such wonderful people around me who can help, and thank God that I was finally able to manage to
Russians now beginning to understand that unlike at the end of World War II, their country has now been looted to the point that all that is being destroyed will never be rebuilt. The end of Putin's reign will leave Russia with no industry, no military, and financially unable to rebuild any revenue-producing assets.
I was just saying that back between 1941 and 1945, Novorossiysk was absolutely leveled by bombs. There wasn't a single house left standing, and the entire city had to be rebuilt from the ground up. So my question is this: is that same tragic fate going to befall us in this current war? The unfortunate news is that there is no Italian architect available to help us rebuild our city. In truth, there are no architects left anywhere who are capable of rebuilding our cities. The children are dying and the people are dying. Tell me, what is the goal of all this? Would someone please tell me what the goal is? The goal of everything that's happening right now. Aside from all the power and money, everyone's mental state is already at zero, right?
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.